Okay, so I've been getting a lot of requests for a particular song called High Ren by an artist called Ren. Now, I can't be too sure what it was that I reacted to, and I can't be too sure as to when I reacted to it, but I did react to something of his. If my mind serves me correct, I did react to something of his a very long time ago. I don't remember him, I don't remember his music at all, but apparently this one's been making the waves. A lot of people have been asking me to do High Ren. I've been seeing it in the comment section, and yeah man, and people have been saying that this is an absolute masterpiece, but I'll be the judge of that. I'll let you know if I feel it's a masterpiece or not, and let's get straight into it, man. Ren, song's called High Ren, Cucumber Squad. What is happening? Long time no see. Let's get straight into it, man. Let's go.
Hi there, Ran. It's been a little while. Did you miss me? You thought you buried me, didn't you? Risky. Cause I always come back. Deep down, you know that. Deep down, you know I'm always in periphery. Ran, are you pleased to see me? It's been weeks since we spoke, bro. I know you need me. You're the sheep, I'm the shepherd. Not your place to lead me. Not your place to be biting off the hand that feeds me.
Hi, Ren. I've been taking some time to be distant. I've been taking some time to be still. I've been taking some time to be by myself since my therapist told me I'm ill. And I've been making some progress lately, and I've learned some new coping skills. So I haven't really needed you much, man. I think we need to just step back and chill.
Ren, you sound more insane than I do. You think that those doctors are really there to guide you? Been through this a million times. Your civilian mind is so perfect at always being lied to. Okay, take another pill, boy. Drown yourself in the sound of white noise. Follow this 10-step program, rejoice. All your problems will be gone. Fucking dumb boy.
Nah, mate. This time is different, man. Trust me. I feel like things might be falling in place, and my music's been kinda doing bits too. Like I actually might do something great. And when I'm gone, maybe I'll be remembered for doing something special with myself. That's why I don't think that we should talk, man. Cause when you're with me, it never seems to help.
You think that you can amputate me? I am you, you are me, you are I am we are one. Split in two, that makes one, so you see. You gotta kill you if you wanna kill me. I'm not leftover dinner, I'm not scraps on the side. Oh, your music is thriving, delusional guy. Where's your top 10 hit? Where's your interview with Oprah? Where are your Grammys, Ren? Nowhere.
Yeah, but my music's not commercial like that. I never chase numbers, statistics or stats. I never write hooks for the radio, they never even play me, so why would I concern myself with that?
Okay, let me just stop it there. Wow, okay. Let's begin with, I was trying to just put my thoughts together in terms of this, in terms of what we've heard so far. Okay, let's begin with the song title, High Ren. Although it's short, I think it's absolutely brilliantly titled, and I'll tell you why. Because obviously, he's playing with the voices in his head, essentially. So he's playing with the psychosis, he's playing with that psychotic sort of like taunts in his head, and then the justification. So there's the justification voice, and then there's the voice of doubt, essentially, in his head, where it's this constant battle, it's psychological battle between him and himself, essentially. What I like about the fact that he called it High Ren is because it's kind of coming from like a taunting aspect, and it's also coming from like an awareness aspect. So like High Ren in terms of like the deep dark, like High Ren sort of like wake you up with shivers in the middle of the night type aspect. He's coming from that angle, essentially, where that High Ren can be very dark, and then that High Ren can also be like it can be a sense of awareness saying, hi Ren, I've actually awoken to something. So it's almost like he's revealing himself or announcing himself, saying, hi Ren. It's like, where have you been? You haven't been around, like you've been stuck. And what's so nice about it is because the way he's playing on this, he can either be on either side of that pendulum. So he can literally be on the dark side, or he can be on the lighter side, essentially. And what's crazy about that is when he actually talks to himself, right? That word, hi Ren, right, can mean a lot to him in both instances. Hi Ren, you've woken up, this is a good day. Hi Ren, this is a dark day and I'm going to take you down. And the crazy thing, it's the same person but two different mindsets that can swing either way, which I think is absolutely brilliant. I like the fact that he's doing this back and forth. I think it's absolutely brilliant. I like the fact that he's going clinical with it, with the sort of hospital robe. I like the fact that it's actually placed in this where he's filming the video is in this setting of like concrete where it's cold, and then also in the background you've got the paint that's actually peeling, so it's almost like he's peeling off layers of himself as well. So I'm not entirely sure if that was a particular choice or particular sort of like filming production choice, but it's brilliantly done. It's almost like the erosion of the personality, right? So it's like these layers of paint that are coming off, so in terms of exposing himself, seeing the darkness beneath what was once beautiful. So and then also revealing with what's beneath there. The lights flickering, obviously playing into like the sort of the psychotic switches, essentially, literally, excuse the pun, in terms of switching on, switching off into the dark and light. I think it's so clever the way he's done that. I love the fact that he's just going with a pure string acoustic guitar, because I think it really adds to this. Those words bounce off those strings really, really well, and they keep you really captivated. There's not so much going on, there's no composition, there's nothing really hitting in the background that's distracting you from what he's actually saying. The lyrics are the most important part. So far, wow, so far, absolutely brilliant. Let's continue.
I never chase numbers, statistics or stats. I never write hooks for the radio, they never even play me, so why would I concern myself with that? But my music is really connecting, and the people who find it respect it. And for me that's enough, cause this life's been tough, so it gives me a purpose I can rest in. Man, you sound so pretentious. Ren, your music is so self-centered. No one wants to hear another song about how much you hate yourself. Trust me. You should be so lucky, having me inside you to guide you, remind you, to manage expectations, provide you perspective. That thing you neglected, I get it. You wanna be a big deal, next Jimi Hendrix, forget it. Man, it's not like that. Man, it's just like that. I'm inside you, you twat. No, it's not, man, you're wrong. When I write, I belong. Let me break the fourth wall by acknowledging this song. Ren sits down, has a stroke of genius. He wants to write a song that was not done previous. A battle with the subconscious, Eminem did it. Played on guitar, Plan B did it. Man, you're not original, you criminal rip-off artist. The pinnacle of your success is stealing other people's material. Ren, mate, we've heard it all before. She sells seashells on the seashore. Fuck you, I don't need you, I don't need to hear this.
Okay, I'm sorry I'm stopping there, but I have to actually stop there because it's actually brilliant what he's done there in terms of the way he's played with the actual scheme. I like the fact that the darker side of him is comparing him, like the worst thing that can possibly happen in someone's psyche, or really when they're feeling down, anxious, depressed and quite low, is for them to actually compare themselves with others. Where that actually puts you in a position to actually doubt yourself. It puts you in a position to sort of devalue yourself in a way, is where you're always pitting yourself up against many different people. So what I like about what he's done over there is he's pitted himself up against, you know, some of the greats like Eminem, Jimi Hendrix with a guitar. And I like the fact that he's connected those two. And then when he said like you Eminem, did you see his cadence actually sped up into a rap cadence? Which I think is absolutely brilliant, because it almost kind of plays, his dark side plays him into the, okay, you plagiarize, like you copy, you know what I mean? Like you're not actually original. And he plays into that quite a lot with the way he's going with the song. It's like, you know, like the light side of him actually feels like he is original, the darker side of him. And so it's always that doubting aspect. It's that dark, character, that dark space in his mind, which is always trying to tell him that, you know, does have the actual skill, but he's consistently doubting himself. And then he's doubting himself by looking at like, am I really trying to be like all these other people, or am I being me? Am I being authentically and originally me? And then when he plays into that I see seashells on the seashore, that little nursery rhyme, that little tongue twister over there, it's kind of like it's a well-known common thing. So it's a well-known common line. So he tries to sort of like demean his talents, demean his lyrical ability by throwing one of those common lines in trying to sort of make him out to be a rapper, but you're not really a rapper. It's actually quite comical the way you try to do these things. I think it's all coming down to a severe sort of sense of doubt, a severe psychotic breakdowns that are, that are very up and down, essentially. So he's constantly in this motion where he's got to sort of like choreograph his mind to a certain degree to like sort of play into two different spheres at all times with whatever he does. And what he's doing here is absolutely brilliant. The transitions as well, absolutely brilliant. The way he's transitioning from the dark, because he does it very subtly. It's not just like cut. He's actually turning into that camera. So he's turning into that camera angle, so it looks like the other personality, the other sort of side of him is actually coming out of him, but in the same person. It's actually very cleverly done.
Cause I'm fine by myself, I'm a genius, and I will be great, and I will make waves, and I'll shake up the whole world beneath us.
That's right, speak your truth, your fucking God complex leaks out of you. It's refreshing to actually hear you say it instead of downplay it.
Music is all about the creative process, and if people can find something to relate to within that, then that's just a bonus.
Fuck you, I'ma fucking kill you, Ren.
Well, fucking kill me then, let's fucking have you, Ren.
I'ma do it, watch me prove it. Who are you to doubt my music? Cause I call the shots, I choose if you die. Yeah, I call the shots and so I choose who survives. I'll tie you up in knots when I lock you inside.
Newsflash. I was created at the dawn of creation. I am temptation. I am the snake in Eden. I am the reason for treason, beheading all kings. I am sin, with no rhyme or reason. Son of the morning, Lucifer, Antichrist, father of lies. Mephistopheles, truth in a blender, deceitful pretender, the banished avenger, the righteous surrender. When standing in front of my solar eclipse, my name is stitched to your lips. So you see, I won't bow to the will of a mortal, feeble and normal. You wanna kill me? I'm eternal immortal. I live in every decision that catalyzes chaos, that causes division. I live inside death, the beginning of end. I am you, you are me, I am you, friend.
Even the quivers and the shakes are brilliant. Okay, let me just stop it there before we carry on. Because there's actually quite a lot to talk about over there. Before he actually went into that sort of darker side where it almost seemed like the devil was kind of taking over him, and that actually, it's crazy that he perceives his other character like that. He perceives his other voice in his head like it's the devil. There's a saying that says an idle mind is the devil's playground, and I think that he tried to sort of capture that and try to bring that forward to you, so you kind of got an idea in terms of the kind of playground that he's playing in, the kind of playground that the devil side of him is actually playing in, where when allowed, or when his sort of like more vulnerable side gets sort of overpowered, it gets really dark. It gets really dark, where it's like, I am the snake in the Garden of Eden. I'm the one who controls this. I'm the one who can do all of this. So it's like, I am everything over here. And he kind of tries to portray this darkness in his mind in such a way that it really is so gripping and it's so hard to shake that he does stand up. The vulnerable side of him, the one that's consistently justifying, the one that's trying to keep himself sort of like with his head above water, when he does stand up, right, his other persona kind of like it just gets harder. So as you can see, the entire progression of the song was just this argument, but you can see that it's always edging towards the dark side. The dark side seems to have a lot more of the leverage over him, and as it's getting more heated and as they're getting more combative, the darker side just gets heavier and stronger and stronger and stronger. right? Until it eventually like sort of controlled him. That's where he did that, right? But before that, he actually said die, where he almost like, he was all about life, he was all about everything is going well for me, and then he went through that subtle moment of weakness where he's like die, where, you know, it kind of like, he alluded to, you know, maybe I should take my life, because if I take my life, then I can get rid, yes, I'll get rid of the hopeful side, but I'll also get rid of the dark side, which overpowers me too much, like I cannot control, essentially. So I think it's really, really well done. It's absolutely brilliant. Let's go.
Hi, Ren. I've been taking some time to be distant. I've been taking some time to be still. I've been taking some time to be by myself, and I've spent half my life ill. But just as sure as the tide starts turning, just as sure as the night has dawned, just as sure as the rainfall soon runs dry when you stand in an eye of a storm. I was made to be tested and twisted. I was made to be broken and beat. I was made by his hand, it's all part of his plan that I stand on my own 2 feet. And you know me, my will is eternal. And you know me, you've met me before. Face to face with a beast, I will rise from the east and I'll settle on the ocean floor. And I go by many names also. Some people know me as hope. Some people know me as the voice that you hear when you loosen the noose on the rope. And you know how I know that I'll prosper.
Okay, wait. That, whoa. Do you notice how that changed over there? The vulnerable sort of justifying Ren, who was very timid and like very weak, almost seemed and had no backbone, and the darker side just sort of controlled him. All of a sudden, the entire demeanor of him, the entire demeanor of that character changed, and all of a sudden, it's almost like, again, like I say in the title, the way he called it, Hi Ren, it's almost like he's announcing himself. He's like revealing himself, saying like, all of this strengthened me to a point where he actually came out of that and he went somber. It's like almost like even his tone, the way he came out of that that whole sort of like dark space, which was that whole like theatrical dark side, right? He came out of that head down, a lot more somber, a lot more controlled, and then he was like, Hi Ren. So it's almost like the way he announced himself, and it's like his mind is clear now, like he knows what his purpose. There's a purpose over here. This segment over here is all purposeful. So the way he's come out of that into here, and he's just getting stronger and more powerful, but more in the light now. He's actually he's not in the dark anymore. He's actually built. You can feel the character building. You can actually feel that he's just, this guy is actually becoming stronger, right? You can feel it, guys. Very well done in terms of how he's, the tonality of it. Everything is so well done.
The voice that you hear when you loosen the noose.
And sorry, I apologize for pausing over there, but I forgot to actually say it, where he actually talks about, you know, what he means, right? His purpose, and the purpose of like, some people know me as hope, and some people know me as the voice that you hear when you loosen the noose on the rope, right? So people who actually want to kill themselves, some people feel like, and when he says loosen the noose on the rope, it's like some people will hear my voice and decide to not do it. I'm bigger than this. And it just goes to show that when his mind is not idle, when his mind is actually always focused and always sort of like arrow-headed towards his purpose, right? The devil has no space to play in that playground. Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant.
On the road, and you know how I know that I'll prosper? Cause I stand here beside you today. I have stood in the flames that cremated my brain, and I didn't once flinch or shake. So coward the man I've become, when I sing from the top of my lungs, that I won't retire, I'll stand in your fire, inspired I make to be strong. And when I am gone I will rise in the music that I left behind. Ferocious, persistent, immortal like you, we're a climate-ed different side.
Unbelievable. That little piece over there where he goes straight into the guitar and he's going ooh, 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 ooh. If you actually remember, he started with that in the beginning where it was almost like an intro, an interlude into his actual song. But the way he did it in the beginning, almost sort of like, it was kind of like a yodel. If you actually had to picture yourself in terms of like, I know this is going a little bit off beat over here, but the way he actually brought into it is kind of to capture your attention. The way he ended off with that was to celebrate, right? To celebrate his strength, to celebrate the release from the grip that was sort of like around his neck, right? Everything is so well put together in this.
When I was 17 years old, I shouted out into an empty room, into a blank canvas, that I would defeat the forces of evil. And for the next 10 years of my life, I suffered the consequences, with autoimmunity, illness, and psychosis. As I got older, I realized there were no real winners and there were no real losers in psychological warfare. But there were victims, and there were students. It wasn't David versus Goliath. It was a pendulum, eternally swaying from the dark to the light.
Holy shit, I actually made mention, I think I made mention. Did I? I can't remember what I said in the beginning, but I think I made mention of a pendulum. Like from dark, I don't know. Maybe I didn't. Maybe I'm talking shit. Let's see.
It was a pendulum, eternally swaying from the dark to the light. And the more intensely that the light shone, the darker the shadow it cast.
Oh, that's brilliant.
It was never really a battle for me to win. It was an eternal dance. And like a dance, the more rigid I became, the harder it got. The more I cursed my clumsy footsteps, the more I struggled. So I got older, and I learned to relax. And I learned to soften, and that dance got easier. It is this eternal dance that separates human beings from angels, from demons, from gods.
Wow.
And I must not forget, we must not forget, that we are human beings.
That is unbelievable. The way he actually described that is absolutely brilliant. Where he said it's this eternal dance where you really do have to balance out. It's this thing is like, the better you try to get at this dance, the more rigid, the more you put on yourself, the more rigid you get, right? Which makes the dance harder, stiffens you up, right? But as he got older, with wisdom, he realized that he just needs to let go a bit. Right? He needs to loosen up a bit, and the dance started to flow, right? He was able to control it. It doesn't mean it wasn't hard, but it was easier to control. It wasn't so hard on him. It wasn't so hard on the muscles. It wasn't so hard on the body, right? It's a beautiful metaphor. It's a beautiful way to actually describe that. Absolutely brilliant. Probably one of the best pieces I have ever seen, ever. Most definitely the best thing I've reacted to this year, even though I know I haven't reacted to much this year. But absolutely, absolutely brilliant. One thing I want to mention in the beginning where he actually gets brought in, and it was like with the pig costume, where it's like we're like pigs to the slaughter. There's that line that says we're like pigs to the slaughter, right? And we often do that to ourselves. We often actually go and slaughter ourselves. We actually, we put ourselves in the slaughterhouse because, we're not content with who we are, essentially. So I like that reversal of it in terms of, you know, the pig mask and things like that, and in terms of how we perceive ourselves like that, right? It's absolutely and utterly brilliant. And the one thing I really like about him is he's a rising tide. He really, really is. And why do I say a rising tide? Because a rising tide raises a rising tide raises all ships, right? There's no ways that he'll lift one or lift another, right? Through his strife, through his wave crashes, through his rough seas, when his tide rises, all ships rise, and his fans are the ships. Absolutely beautiful. Sorry, I know this is long. I hope you enjoyed that, and I'll catch you next one.